What's going on, guys? Matt in the Hat, Keller Williams Diamond Partners. You are tuned in to the hot list. I come to y'all now weekly. Remember, we did have to change the protocol. Weekly at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time on Tuesdays. We hang out and talk real estate, and I answer a question of the week. Now, as properties come up, again, we will talk about them because of the new changes. If you missed out on that, make sure you go back to episode 263. I go into the detail there of what changes occurred, kind of what took place, and what the hot list is going to look like moving forward. So again, I am your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Diamond Partners. We are in episode number 265, and we are talking how to make your home safe for senior living. Before we get into that question of the week, though, I do want to highlight a property that is new to the market. The address is 1315 Walnut Street here in Emporia. This is a 2-bed, 1-bathroom property, 950 square feet, detached garage, full unfinished basement. And the cool thing about this house, it is a bungalow style house with what is classified as a sleeping porch upstairs overlooking the backyard. And when you walk into the house, you got some beautiful original hardwood floors throughout most of the house. And there is some of the woodwork and trim that is really detailed when you walk through as well. So I've included links in the description below. So make sure you go check that one out while it is available. If you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to me, give me a call, or you can shoot me a message through the podcast player that you are tuning in. So the question of the week, and this one is one that doesn't necessarily hit close to home right now. Thankfully, because both my parents and my in-laws have been in good health. They have had some surgeries. And, you know, we have been there to help them through that, but nothing quite to this extent. So the question of the week, how do I make the home safer for senior living? And like I mentioned, this is a huge topic, mostly with the silent generation, but as you know, some of the older boomers are getting up there either in age or maybe their health is declining, some type of ailment or disability. This is going to be a great episode for you because no matter which generation it is, they want to stay at home longer and live independently as long as possible, not just taking the burden off of their kids, but like my parents remind me, they're old, not dead. So they still want to do things. And they, I mean, they're in their barely in their 70s. So they've got a lot of life left and they still like to do their own thing and take care of things that they want to and that they're able to in and around the house. And because of these generations staying longer, or not just living longer, but staying longer in the home, it is important to be aware of some of the risks that could or that do pose a problem or potential for a daily accident. You know, there's falls, fire hazards, and today we're going to talk about how to eliminate these to keep your loved ones safe. Just a quick disclaimer to cover myself. You know, we all got to CYA. This is not an exhaustive list by any means. This is one to either give some quick fixes or maybe some small renovation ideas outside of a complete purchase of a new home. And a lot of these are going to be commonly recommended to avoid potential risks. The information that I was able to look up here, I got from a lot of it was from AARP, other avenues or other sources like that out there. So what we're going to talk about today are 7 ways to make your home more senior friendly. And number 1, I thought this was a great place to start, is minimize trips and falls. And obviously this is going to be at the top of the list for a reason. Trips and falls are a top contributor to ER visits and hospital stays in the elderly. So what you want to do is remove any loose rugs from the home, or make sure they are secured down with either double-sided tape or a rug pad. This is going to be the best way to keep them on the floor, kind of keep them from peeling up once they show their age or start to show their wear a little bit. You'll see the corners or the sides kind of peeling up with that tape or the rug pad. This will just ensure that they stay in contact with the floor and don't start to peel up and cause a trip hazard. Now, if you have carpet that may have some tears in it, make sure you just mend those. There's carpet glue. You can use staples. Those are going to be the best ways to take care of that, other than, just remove the carpet altogether, replace it with something else. If there are stairs in the home and maybe the bedrooms are upstairs or laundry is downstairs, make sure that you have some non-slip strips on the steps. It's going to make sure that the footing is secure. And while we're talking about secure, ensure that the handrail is secure and it's not going anywhere. Make sure it's nice installed and it's into the studs in the walls and not just held on through anchors in the sheetrock. There is a difference. I promise you'll notice the difference as well. Also, depending on the size of the house as well as the size of the stairs, a chairlift may be an option as well. It can be installed and used either going upstairs to bedroom or, again, downstairs, maybe laundry's downstairs. You also don't want to forget about the bathroom. Simply placing a rubber mat down to prevent slippage will go a long way. You can also swing by your local medical supply store, whatever you have where you live, and grab some bars. These bars, now some of them either anchor in there or have suction cups. You can install these near the shower, in the tub, or close to a toilet. And there are also toilet seat risers that you can purchase for your loved one. And this is just going to make it easier for them to get up from the toilet, or not have to squat down as far to get on. Again, just reduces the chance for injury or falls. Number 2 is remove obstacles. This sounds simple enough, but I promise you this is going to be an ongoing challenge depending on who comes over, how often they come over. If you bring grandkids, great grandkids, they're going to get into everything. So you want to just make sure that you keep the high traffic areas clean. Maybe of toys, electrical cords. Make sure all the pathways throughout the house are clear of chairs, appliances, bags, or boxes, which again will lead to a trip or fall because they may not expect something is there and could end up in a hospital visit. Another option to maybe remove some of those items would be adding low-level shelves. This is going to give extra storage around the house, maybe get some of the items that are on the floor, off the floor, and onto the wall, or maybe this will more commonly used items that your loved one has to search for a ladder or step stool, you can lower those down, and again reduces the chance of a fall coming off of that step stool or ladder if they happen to lose their balance. Number 3 is faulty furniture. This one is definitely high up the list for a reason, because any furniture that is going to be faulty is going to be recommended to either secure it, adjust it, or replace it. For example, if you have a dining room chair that has wobbly arms, maybe legs aren't secured, if you just leave it the way it is and don't remedy it, again, could lead to a nasty fall, hospital stay, and potential injury as well. So make sure that you do that. Also, ensure chairs and bedding are at a comfortable height. This is going to make it easier to sit down, get up from that, and if needed, when it comes to the mattress, if the mattress is, if it's one of those deeper, thick mattresses, maybe that's too high and they almost have to kind of hop up to get on it. Make sure that you replace that with one that's either a little thinner or easier for them to sit down and just kind of swing their legs in bed or out of bed to get up in the morning. And what will also make this easier, that wasn't on the list, but I do want to add this just based on my experience with my wife's building and what she has for some of her residents. You can either, if they have a headboard, make sure that's secure. They could use that for bracing, or there are devices that are called halos. These are large ring style devices. They connect under the bed. They go the width of the bed, and a lot of times will even secure to the bed itself. And because of how sturdy these are, people are able to put a lot of their weight or strength on it to get themselves up or set themselves down so they can lay in bed. Number 4 on the list, improve lighting. I would like to have moved this one up the list. I don't know where I would have moved it to, because it's kind of right here in the middle at number 4. But darkness in the home, in my opinion anyways, is just an accident waiting to happen. Now, I know with these generations, they are very conscious and very aware of energy. And if you're not in a room, the light goes off. I get that 100%. But whether, you're getting up in the morning, maybe going to the bathroom in the middle of the night without any type of light, it is going to be an accident waiting to happen and a potential hazard. Now there are a ton of options that you can install in the house, such as night lights. No, they're not just for kids anymore, but they don't have to be, they don't have to illuminate some cartoon character. It could just be a subtle light, so you remember where the door is, where the hallway is. There's also motion lights that can be set up, so when you walk by it, it's going to be triggered. What these two generations might be familiar with is the clapper. Don't you remember the clapper? You clap on, clap off. They may actually have those and just either not utilize them or forgot that they had them. I think one of the cool things that I've seen recently that you can purchase is a toilet bowl light. And it's just a simple light that goes in your toilet bowl, lights up not just the bowl, but it's enough to let you see in the bathroom as well, so you don't stub your toe on something or run into anything. Any type of visual aid that you can add is going to increase the visibility reduce the risk of a fall or injury. And that is the ultimate goal, is we want to do as much as we can to reduce the risk of falls and injuries. Number 5, limit everything to one level. Now, this could be a costly setup depending on the style of the house or how it's set up, but will definitely pay dividends for your loved one if it's done properly. Simply by reducing the need to visit the basement or travel upstairs for anything, it will give them easier access to laundry, storage, or any other necessities that can be stored on the main level. Also, with this, create easy access to heavy objects, like if they have hanging pots or pans, whether they're hanging above or on the wall. Just by relocating these, you can reduce lifting anything heavy, having to stretch out, or again get on a step stool of some kind, and run the risk of stepping down too soon, rolling an ankle, and again with the fall or injury. Shameless plug here: if you don't have a ranch style house or looking to downsize, I would be happy to be the real estate resource that you choose and help you through that. Number 6, fire and burn prevention. I believe this is an area many may not consider or just overlook, simply because some of the items can generally be overlooked because it's not something that we think about or deal with on a daily basis. But now there are easy control temperatures that you can set up, or that you can monitor on thermostats. You can also install lock-in switches to control furnace fires. When it comes to electrical cords, just make sure none of them have any type of fraying on them. Outlets aren't overfilled with plugs. I know that's another area people don't really think about. They just kind of overlook that in general. And just by doing that, you can avoid potential shorts and overheating. And when it comes to the burns, be careful with the scalding water, either in the kitchen or the bathroom. For your loved ones, I would recommend the water heater thermostat shouldn't be higher than 120. Any higher or any hotter than that can run the chance of catching them off guard. Maybe they're not expecting it to be that hot, and just reduce the chance. Also, when you're cooking on a stove, especially a gas stove, I would recommend not wearing loose clothing. It's easy to either get it caught on something, or if it droops down while you're cooking on the stove, it can singe or burn your clothing. And a lot of the clothes now are made of some type of synthetic, so it's gonna burn real quick and adhere to the skin. So just avoid that. And one of the big topics of conversation or debate, depending on who you ask, space heaters. Space heaters are a wonderful and terrible thing for seniors. Often they can be forgotten about and either become a tripping hazard, put too close to something, become a burn or fire hazard. So you just have to be careful. So be careful with them. Make sure if you use a space heater, the cords are tucked away. They're placed at least 3 feet away from any type of furnishings, and there is they're cleared from any pathways, so it reduces the chance of a fall. And finally, number 7, just some general safety and health measures that we're going to talk about, everyone, including seniors, is vulnerable to smoke and toxic fumes. Because of that, make sure that you change the batteries in your smoke detectors, as well as your carbon monoxide detectors twice a year. Add a fire extinguisher to the kitchen. Those of you that know my story, we now not just have a fire extinguisher in the kitchen. I have one in the hallway. We have one in the basement. Maybe I'll tell that story again, but not this time. And add a fire extinguisher on each level of your home just to be on the safe side. Like I mentioned, we have one not just in the kitchen. We have one in the hall closet. We have one in the basement. I even think we have one upstairs just because my youngest son right now is the teenage years, and we all know teenagers aren't that intelligent when it comes to common sense things. So we have that just in case. Also, keep a list of emergency contacts handy and visible for anybody that for not just your loved one, but anybody that comes to check on them, or if you come to check on them. That way, because if you don't live in the same city or same area, you may not know the contact or the contact information. So have that not just for them, but for yourself as well. One thing that I would also add in this is, if you don't live close to your loved one and you can't check on them on a weekly basis, hire a cleaning service to come in once a week. Just kind of give them the lay down. This is what we're looking for. Come in once a week, make sure everything is cleaned up, tucked away, nothing in the pathways, reduce or remove anything that is a potential trip or fall hazard, and contact the pharmacy. If you contact the pharmacy, have them attach large print labels to the medication, whether it's whether it's in the medication bottles or they come in the little boxes, because you don't want to risk seniors with mobility, hearing, or visual limitations to accidentally over medicate themselves, or maybe even grab the wrong type of chemical if they're going to clean themselves. So make sure that you get some large print labels and put those on whatever you can. This one is you're probably going to get some pushback on this one from your loved one, but look into some type of medical alert system, especially if they're prone to falling, or you can advise them to carry their phone on them at all times. And that would include in the bathroom, whether they're just in the bathroom or while they're showering. If there is some type of corner or small table that they can just put their phone down on in case they happen to fall, though that phone more than likely is still going to be in arm's reach, and they'll still be able to contact somebody for help. And lastly, look at investing in some type of smart home security system. Now, this is not only going to protect against home invasions, this is also for their protection as well, because if they happen to fall, it does have the capability of calling for them, either first responders or calling family members. So there they are. Those are the 7 ways to make your home more senior friendly. And I'm curious, do you or your family have any of these set up in place? And if so, which ones have you had the best luck with? And have you had any pushback from others because they didn't want to implement them, or they just don't like the sound of it? Let me know. I would love to hear from you guys and see what we can get figured out. Also, don't forget that now the question of the week is in format. and will be listed in the details below. So if you have a question about real estate, you're not sure where to start, all you have to do is click on that link and submit the question. It'll be emailed right to me so that I can check it. Again, I would be happy to be the real estate resource that you start with and reach out to, just to give you some directions, and from there you can springboard to the next one. Because if you have that question about real estate, the chance that somebody else has that question is extremely high. And what better way to get it answered and help somebody else than submitting it to me? One last favor, if everybody listening would please leave me a review on iTunes or Spotify, I would greatly appreciate that. That helps with the algorithm, gets me in front of more people and more listeners just like you, so I can help not only you, but I can help them and get their questions answered as well. So that is going to wrap it up for episode number 265. Again, I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Y'all have a phenomenal rest of your week, and thanks for tuning in. See you next week.